Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack. I mean, it's always gonna be dirtbag shit podcast. The DBS podcast. Peace, and welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon in full effect. Happy holidays. This week I'm joined by a longtime friend, the owner of Krank Gym in Brooklyn. Please welcome my man, Mr. Danny Salazar.
You sound pretty fucking good, man. You look good too, man. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm doing all right. Depending, with this whole pandemic shit going on, I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. As well, man. I find a lot of benefits to the pause, but it's hard to admit that and be openly gracious about all the good things that have come about because people are dying, right? So in the midst of it, I don't want to be like, yo, I've never had this much money in my bank account in my life.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because you want to get right into this?
We're going to get right into it. So what I'll do is I'm going to put another intro. I like to do the intro on my H6. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do it fly, I'll do the intro, represent, call out the gym and all that. So we're just going to go right into it, Pop.
Okay. But with this whole pandemic shit, I'll just go wherever you want to go with it. But I spent a lot of time trying to build this gym and follow my dream and follow my passion. And all of a sudden this fucking invisible monster came and destroyed everything. And then the government said I can't. This shit is like a bad Netflix movie. For real. It's like a bad B movie. And then I was forced to not do anything. And then it put a lot of shit in perspective. Who's important, what's important, what am I really spending my time doing? Shit was crazy. I broke down 50 times during this pandemic.
Really?
Put myself back together. Yeah. It's been pretty rough.
Yeah, I bet. You're a gym owner and, you guys are suffering almost as much as restaurants. Not as much, but damn near close to it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So you have 20% allowance in the gym. That's what you can allow in your facility. Masks have to be worn and hours are restricted for your place of business, correct?
Yeah, there's a bunch of, all right. So I paid money to a lawyer to look at all the rules. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Right. So in doing that, in paying a professional, and we're trainers and you're a comedian and you do a bunch of things you're a professional in your field. When you pay a professional to perform a task for you, things can get done. Unfortunately, professionals are expensive. So that's what I did. I paid for a professional and I got a lot of things done. And Krank was able to operate because of that. I don't want to blow it up, but yeah.
Well, good, man. Congratulations on that. And now being, reduced to having to be completely shut down. And,
Yeah, it was rough.
Emotion. Now, is Krank considered a CrossFit gym or no?
No, it's a small group training. So we've been doing it since maybe a year or two after CrossFit came out.
Okay.
It's a somewhat cross training. It's hard to explain. It's small group personal training.
Yeah.
As CrossFit, they generally, not always, some people use the CrossFit banner as kind of a promotion, but not anymore since the whole Greg Glassman thing happened. I'm not sure if you're
what is that?
About that.
What's that?
The guy who used to own CrossFit, he said some derogatory racist shit. And then everybody was like, I'm not naming my gym CrossFit anymore. And then a lot of people disaffiliated from it.
He's a victim of cancel culture.
Yeah, he said some wild shit. So anyway, a lot of people.
If you don't mind, let's. What group was he? Was it black people, Latino people, white people? Who was he going after? Asians? Oh, you don't even remember?
It was like black people and women.
Yeah. So he was like,
that's what he said. He sent out a tweet, and it sounded pretty bad. It sounded pretty bad. I'm not sure exactly what it was. It sounded pretty bad, and it's crazy because he's endorsed the LGBT community. So it's crazy that he said some shit, but then he's done other things behind the scenes to support the communities that he essentially tweeted against. I don't know. He said some fucking wild shit, and a lot of people don't want to be CrossFit no more. Right. That's essentially what happened. But what Krank is it's small group personal training. So CrossFit, they generally, not always, but they generally use CrossFit as a means of a sport. They turn exercise into a sport. And like what I do is use exercise as a means to an end. So like if you're a fighter, I use exercise to get you better at fighting. If you want fat loss, I use better for that. And CrossFit, they're like, it's almost like I don't play sports. I do CrossFit. I don't box. I CrossFit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That is definitely the mentality of a CrossFitter, if I may. Every time I see them, it's like, oh, you're just that dude that was terrible at all sports, but you could lift some shit right now. So now you're in CrossFit.
That's awful. That's terrible. That's terrible to say, but yeah.
That's what I've come in contact with. They're like, you going to the box? Yeah, you going to the box?
I could agree with you on that. I could definitely agree with you on that. Shit is crazy.
But they are. It looks like fun. It looks like, I always thought, and I never did CrossFit, but I always thought that the pull-ups look weird to me. I'm like, those pull-ups look aggressive. It's almost like they're trying to do a muscle up, and I get it. That's for high reps, correct? Correct.
Yeah. Like I said, it's definitely for a sport. And you know what? Like honestly, like back in the day, I would have been like, yo, CrossFit is trash, Zumba's trash, yoga's trash, whatever's trash. And now being a little bit older and like serving so many people, it's like if you can get anybody to do anything, honestly, it's important. Like how many trainers you seen out there like whole pads? You ever follow that shit? Boxing, what is it called? Boxing meme?
Boxing shame?
Yo.
Yeah, I know. I know the creator of Boxing Shame.
Yo, I love that. I love that fucking profile.
Yo,
it's like the same thing. It's terrible, but it's an introduction. It's maybe what that person needs to get introduced to that lifestyle.
Absolutely. And with any fitness installation or whatever, there's always gonna be some funny shit, some goofy shit, right?
Definitely.
It doesn't define it, So when I say, oh, those pull-ups look crazy to me, that's all it is. That's all what I find funny about. I just like those pull-ups look like a high risk of injury. When we talk about boxing shame, it doesn't define. Unfortunately, for those particular trainers, it looks really bad, and maybe it checks them, right? If they get called out on their bullshit, they're like, damn, I really got to clean it up a little bit. But yo, if I was to be recorded for every time I held pads with somebody, I would make boxing shame at one point in time.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I did some bullshit. I'm sure early on, and thank God not everything was videotaped.
No, I feel you. Sometimes people need some bullshit. If like you get somebody that's not fit at all, and it's like, yo, I just need this person to sweat a little bit. And then eventually you work on the technique. Yeah.
Not everyone you're holding the pads for is going to be hitting them shits extra clean with power.
You're not looking like Mayweather the first 2 sessions.
Yeah. The funny thing is the trainer kind of tries, some of the trainers try to mimic that. And that's what people I think get annoyed with. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying, right? It's like, oh, you're just trying to get people to move. That's it.
And it's funny, right? Because there's a fine balance in being a trainer between like educating and getting this person to meet their goals and then entertainment. There's a huge degree of entertainment, because if the person's not enjoying what the hell they're doing, they're not going to come back, and then they're not going to get any closer to their goals. So it's like kind of like riding that line or finding that balance between those 3 things is like difficult for most.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, you hit it right in the head. it's very important. You got to keep people engaged. You can't just, I know this plan's going to work for you, do it. You got to be engaging. You got to, I wouldn't say you have to, you got to be fun to be with. No one wants to be around a motherfucker for an hour who's fucking dull and boring. You got to have some personality, some flair.
Like give people what they want and then kind of slip in what they need.
Right.
You know, it's tough.
Absolutely.
It's tough. It's fun.
Yeah.
How long have you been training for?
Well, I was boxing on and off for years since I started taking it serious at like my early 20s, and then I never stopped. Then it became part of my lifestyle, and I was in love with, I fell in love with boxing, and I was told to cover a class, and then from there I just started. Oh, I really enjoyed this, because then it gave me a platform for two of my passions. I got to stand up on stage, kind of perform, kind of going back to what you're saying, and then teaching somebody some shit that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So it was, I threw myself in it, and I excelled pretty quick. And then I started to really educate myself in different fields of fitness and whatever, because I was hungry for the knowledge or whatever. So I would say, I've been working at different places anywhere from like 8 to 10 years, something along those lines.
What's up?
What inspired you to open Krank?
I opened it by mistake. Before that, I was a trainer at a gym, and I really liked my job there. I would have never quit, and they fired me. So what had happened was, my partner Pete, the guy who originally started Krank, he made this logo. This is his shit, and we were like, and then there was another guy named Rob. We were like the top 3 trainers there. We were the highest earners there. So what happened was we had a contest on who could sell the most personal training sessions. I forget the numbers, but it was like an astronomical amount. I think Pete sold like maybe $90,000 in personal training sessions.
Wow.
Rob sold like maybe 70, 60. And then I was under them. Like I went to that gym to mentor under like really good personal trainers. Like when I first got out of personal traiame school, it's like,
I don't know why. I almost felt like you were gonna say when I first got out of prison. That's what it sounded like.
When I came out the pen, son, I was like, yeah, I gotta get this bread. Yeah, so when I got out, I was like in personal training school. It's like a certification-based deal. So I got out, I was like, yo, I asked my instructor, I was like, yo, where are the best personal trainers in the city? Like, where the fucking Avengers of training? She was like, yo, you got to go to this gym in Jersey. There's a whole squad there. I pulled up in this gym, and it was literally like the fucking Avengers of personal training there. So I I ramped up my education super fast. Anyway, long story short, we made all this fucking money. I made like 50 grand. Rob made 70. Pete made 90 because he's super charismatic like you. I think you know him. He's a comedian as well. Pete Isip.
Oh, yes. So when you first mentioned Pete, I didn't want to cut you off because I didn't want to.
It is Pete Isip.
I had a feeling he's a Philippine guy, if I'm mistaken. From Jersey.
Uh-huh.
I remember. We've done stand-up. I don't think he does it anymore.
But I remember anymore because he opened him.
Yeah, you guys were co-owners of Krank.
Yeah, well, what happened was, long story short, we made all this fucking money for the gym. They gave us like a $300 check. I was like, nigga, I just gave you 50 grand in sales, son. You gave me a $300 check and a book. The book they gave me was Brian Tracy's Goals. That shit was the best book I've ever read in my whole life. That shit like turned on the idea. Anyway, long story short, we figured out a business model and a training model there where we were making an obscene amount of money and not working a lot of hours. The business wanted to know how we were doing this.
Do me a favor, Dan. Hold that thought. Can you move your computer to the left? I just want you to block your window. Let's go the other way. Yeah, perfect. And no, I want you to stay where you were, if possible. Yeah.
Like this, you want the profile?
No, you can be straight. You can be squared up. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't. I'm tired of seeing that The outside. My eyes about to fall like this. That shit's
Yeah, no, I should have set this up better. Sorry about that.
That's fine. It's fine. It's a dirtbag podcast. Dirtbag shit. So that gives me a little allowance for extra grit and some bullshit.
Okay. I get it now. Anything
that's like a little bit like, yo, Serge, what's up with that squeaky noise in the background?
Dirtbag podcast. What do you expect, bro?
Yeah, or the pit bull barking in the background. I'm like, yo, it's a DBS podcast. What do you want?
That's how we do shit. So, long story short, we figured out a business model to make a bunch of money. They wanted to know how we were doing it. They wanted to replicate it. I was like, fuck out of here. Long story short, they fired Pete. Pete opened up this gym. Rob was the second to go, and then I was the third to go because we were the highest earners there, and they figured they would take all our clients once they gave us the boot. I went to work with Pete for a little while, and then I was like, yo, Pete, can I open up my own gym? And he was like, yeah, take the name. I was like, you sure? He was like, yeah, take the name. You're my boy.
Wow.
Like, that's crazy. Who does that?
Yeah.
That nigga is the man. Who does that?
Yeah, right.
He said, yo, open up a gym. I think you could do this. I believe in you. Take the name. I was like, all right. His gym was Krank. I was like, all right, Krank. I put a Brooklyn on the bottom, Krank Brooklyn.
Wow.
That was it. So anyway, long story short, I never told my girl, she's my wife now. I never told my girl I got fired. I just woke up every single day, woke up at 5 a.m., went to the fucking train station and sat there. And I was like, yo, what the fuck am I going to do? This happened for like 6 months straight. And then I was like, yo, no, not 6 months, like 2 months straight. I would just like go to the gym and work out, go to another gym and work out, and then come home and be like, long day, because I had money saved. And then I was like, yo, you know what? Babe, maybe we should open up a gym, try to find a space. We were looking for real estate space. We found some shit in Brooklyn, and then that's how it happened. And then I started that shit with like $5,000.
Wow, man, good for you. From what I gather, man, it looks like it does have a real sense of community. It looks dope, man. It looks really dope. And I know you're gonna survive and continue to do your thing. But I do understand your frustrations, man. But don't feel like you're alone. It's just everyone is feeling it in one way or another.
No, definitely. Like every day I get a message, text, yo, closing my gym. It's like heartbreaking. You spend your whole life trying to build something, and then
the more if you have any idle time, I imagine you probably don't have too much of that, being that you're a family man and you got the gym and everything. But what I've noticed, anytime I have idle time, that's when the pressure and anxiety of fucking COVID affects me psychologically. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Holy
Nobody
shit.
wants to sit alone with their thoughts.
Yeah, so what I'm finding now that a lot of people are out of town, the shows have been knocked down to, basically nothing. I'm just home a little more these past few weeks. Everyone's away for the holidays, and I catch myself like, yeah, I need to go for a run. What I'm saying? Fucking run. What I'm saying? And it always makes me feel better.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like that discomfort is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it keeps you on edge, keeps you on point. I was talking to one of my guys, like one of my boys the other day. I was like, yo, every time I see you, you always have your headphones in. He was like, yeah, same with you. I was like, yo, isn't it crazy that you would rather listen to somebody else than listen to your own voice and listen to what's in your own head? Like, it's that uncomfortable to listen to what you actually probably need to listen to.
Yeah. What do you have a Weimaraner?
Yeah.
You still have him or her?
Yeah, I still have him. That nigga's crazy. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they require a lot of exercise because they're hunting dogs.
Yeah, I think I got a lemon. I know it's kind of like fucked up for me to say. Yeah. Because
where'd you get him from?
I got him from a Weimaraner person, like a Weimaraner farm, I guess. Like all this woman does is sell Weimaraners. She looks like a fucking Weimaraner. Yeah, I seen her parent. I seen Goose, my dog Goose. He's 10 now. I seen Goose's mother, father, and his siblings. They're humongous. They're massive. They're like almost 100-pound dogs. They're like a lot bigger than he is. He's like the smallest one of the litter. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they like way more calm than he is. So Yeah, I got the lemon. It's all right.
Yo, so you just never know, right? If you go through a breeder, I mean, she could be on the up and up, and this,
Yeah.
but you just never know, man. If they're pumping these dogs out, they might just go off to the side real quick and be like, we're gonna have to breed that brother and sister. We're a little low on litters here, and then you get one that's a little dumped out. He got the biggie, you know what I'm saying?
Dumped out.
He a little dumbed out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With a little bit, he got the biggie, cross eye with the tongue hanging out the side.
I will tell you, he's one of the smartest pets, smartest dogs I've ever seen.
He's
Dude opens the refrigerator. He pees in the bathtub. He did it by himself. Like, he learned how to do this shit by himself. One time I left him out, the nigga flooded my whole apartment. He turned on the bathtub, just drank water. The whole apartment was flooded. I came upstairs, fire department was up here and everything.
Oh my God.
Put child safety locks on shit. The nigga's crazy. He's crazy.
Wow.
It's my best friend though. Like, I love that dog.
Okay, now you're putting me through an emotional roller coaster. First you say it's a lemon, and then
It's a lemon because I'm joking. It's the Dirtbag Podcast. I've been a dirtbag dog owner.
And then I went off to that side on giving you reasons why you have a dirtbag dog. Then you made me feel bad. Like, that's my best friend. I just called your best friend. I said your best friend has Biggie Smalls cross-eye.
It's okay. It's okay. Everybody has an uncle that looks like that too, and we love him.
So how he's 10 years old.
He's 10. He's 10. I also have like a red-nosed pit, and she's, I think, the same age.
Yeah.
She's the same age. So one's like, Goose is like 85 pounds and like 6'4", and she's 25 pounds and like she's this big, just a ball of muscle.
Where'd you get her from?
My girl saw a Facebook post about like abandoned dogs, and she was like, we need this dog. So we got her from some rescue shelter in Queens.
Yeah. And they get along well.
Yeah, they do. She's very vicious though. She hates all other dogs.
Word?
Yeah, she's a bitch. She just tries to like dominate every other dog. She's very, very, very aggressive.
Does she have cropped ears?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. Apparently her whole story was she was like the equivalent to a journeyman for dog fighting.
Wow.
That's what she was. So
And
like
for
they
those
used
who
to
don't know
put
what
her
a
with.
journeyman is, a journeyman is someone who just fights everybody. They're kind of, they're meant to, a lot of times they're meant to lose. They're put out there just to give somebody work,
Yeah.
There's a lot of journeymen in boxing. Boxing needs them. I'm not sure if they have as many journeymen in MMA, but boxing definitely had journeymen.
Yeah. It's like definitely like a stepping stone, brush up some skills, good enough to give some up and comer a challenge, but not so good that they destroy their confidence from possibly being great. That makes sense.
But some journeymen will fuck up your plans.
Yeah, if you put him against a kid that isn't ready for that person.
Yeah, and what happens is with journeymen, sometimes their records look like a combination lock.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So people
That's
think,
fact.
you're right. So people think, oh my God, look at this guy, man. He's fucking 0-2, 11, and 25. That's 2 wins, 11 draws, 25 losses. I'm gonna rush through this guy, but they don't understand that that's close to like 75 fights or whatever. So the guy is experienced.
And then he's fought. The people that he lost against inevitably became champions. So he lost against quality people.
Yeah,
So
that shit happens a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's also like with a journeyman, they know their way around the ring. They've been there before. So if you're a newer fighter going into this situation, you got butterflies in your stomach. This motherfucker just rolled off his futon 24 hours ago, flew from Pittsburgh, didn't even get a hit.
Well, like, all right, so where did that person go wrong? So we had this conversation in the gym. Sometimes we stay in the gym like 2 o'clock in the morning, just banging weights and just talking guy shit. It was like, is it nature or is it nurture or is it a combination of both? What does it take to be great?
I think it's a combination of both. And journeymen, maybe they're working UPS. They work for UPS and then they go to the gym at night. So they're not able to give all their attention. Maybe their management sucks. You know, maybe they brought them up too quick. Maybe they're not really disciplined. You know, it's a number of different things it could be.
Sometimes people just don't got it.
And some people just don't got it. You know, anyone could be pro.
Yo, you know,
anyone could go pro.
Yeah, I mean, some people just don't got it. And like people get upset about that. It's like, no, if I work hard enough, I can be anything I want to be. Yo, no matter how hard I work, I am not going to be LeBron James. It's not going to happen. I could work as hard as I want. It just won't happen.
Yeah.
And then
I'll tell you this, man. You can have LeBron James calf muscles because you like to train and you like to rollerblade. So your calf muscles may be on the same, you know.
What if you have
know
big calf muscles, but you can't jump? Basketball players have skinny legs.
That's true. Well, all my black friends have skinny legs. They have high calf muscles. So that's not a good comparison.
I mean, yo, there's a thing behind origin and insertion. There's a reason why. Maybe they run faster the further away.
Every one of my black friends, their calf muscles are mad high, and I always make fun of them. I was like, why does your calf muscles start behind your kneecap?
I don't know.
And they never have the answer. And they're like just dunking over me. I'm like, fuck y'all. I'll be in the corner like that, missing shots.
That's funny as fuck. You know, some people are just built certain type of way. Some people are meant to. Yo, well, like, why do some kids being born like playing chess at 2? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
some of the
hard
stuff
thing.
you could kind of, you know, push on people. Hey, you're gonna study how to play chess. You're gonna be a master at it. But some people just got it. It's this natural talent that some people have. Like, I'm gonna ask you. I've always been fascinated. You know, we go way back. We went to school together, and I remember. I never thought of you, like we never played sports together, but you were definitely athletic, man. You were fucking rollerblading, so you were definitely like an adrenaline junkie. Like are you still like that?
I guess.
And maybe you never even looked at yourself in that light, but you used to fucking be on those rollerblades, be on buses and shit.
Yeah, I love that shit. Like I credit that to like a lot of things that I've done that've been positive. Yo, rollerblading like saved me. Like that shit is the truth.
Yeah, I believe it, man. You what I got from it. So we're in high school, right? So a lot of people go different ways. And when you're young in New York City, where we grew up, it's so easy to fall into some bullshit. It's so easy. You know,
Yeah.
It's so easy. I remember a lot of being young, the energy that was put forth was trying to be tough, you know, trying to, you know, make sure that I build a defense mechanism to combat any, you know, crews and cliques. And I wasn't a tough guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I definitely had that on my mind a lot. So I moved around like we're thinking about that rather than putting that energy into something that could probably serve me right. I mean, I guess it served me right for the immediate time, but a lot of energy was put into like, oh, I gotta behave or move a certain way.
Yo, you had a particular skill set though. Like that's why I think it was like
it's called silliness.
Nah, yo, you do. I hope you give yourself as much credit. I hope you're just being silly about you being silly. So you have like a wild skill set where like you could navigate in any community very well.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, like I've seen it, noticed it.
Do you find that so rollerblading was kind of like your martial art, right? It was the thing that you kind of applied into other areas of life. What you learned from that, you know, it's something that you were diligent as, you know, doing. You met a community of people, probably from all different walks of life.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, think about the sport as a whole. It's like you got to go out and you go to this inanimate object and then you look at it and you're like, all right, let me hurl myself at it and see if I don't die. Like you have to stay focused. You have to envision yourself performing the task. You have to have a lot of self-belief and confidence in order to do it. And then you have to have the resiliency to like bust your shit and say, get up and be like, okay, I know what I did wrong this time. Let me try it like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I apply that shit to business now.
That shit is wild. The tricks I've seen you do, I've seen you at Forsyth Park. I didn't see you physically. I saw the video of it. It's a beautiful video. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. I wish I had an archive of me doing beautiful shit like that. I don't. but you like jumped on a handrail where handicapped people used to go down a ramp. You used that shit to put your blade sideways and grind on it all the way out. What's that trick called?
It was a soul grind. It was a soul grind.
What's it called? Soul run?
A soul grind, like soul, like the bottom of your soul.
Grind.
Yeah, soul grind.
I mean, you went out, that shit was like 4 feet high, and you went for a long ass time. And you landed on your feet, your wheels. You know,
yeah.
You landed well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So how do you even like, I guess you start those tricks just on a smaller platform, and then you just bring it up, right?
Yeah, you graduate. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this shit for like, when we went to high school together, I had already been doing it for like about 10 years. So I've been doing like almost 30 years already. I started when I was like 9. I'm 40 now.
Wow.
And I still like skate every once in a while. And I try to, not as often, but I still skate because, like, you know, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and then I have a 4-year-old. She's gonna be 5. So
that's your little koala bear.
Yeah. So I still want to impress my kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, oh, you think your friend's dad is cool? Look at what I could do.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like super dad. That's the only reason I work out, to impress my kids. That's it, and to live a long time. Like the only reason I do anything right now. Before it was a different thing.
Right. Is
how did you have a kid too, right?
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old. She loves video games. I try to get the pads out for her. I see. Do you find that that the kids are responding to how you move and everything, or is it different? Are they, you know, as active as you are, or as you would like them to be?
In what sense? Oh, like,
well, you know, like working out, like whether, because I see you do Mui Thai as well.
Yeah.
Is it Mui Thai?
I think they are. Yeah. Yeah, they are.
That's
they
dope.
are. Very, very proud of them. Like my kids, they both do. My oldest daughter, she didn't like to do it. I was like, look, I never asked you to do nothing, kid. Nothing. But you're gonna fucking learn how to punch bitches in the face once a week, at least. Like, we live at LES. You gotta learn how to wash bitches up if you need to.
Right.
And plus, it gives me bonding time. It's just an excuse for her to spend time with me at 17 years old. So yeah. But yeah, they definitely follow my footsteps. Like my oldest, she has her own business. She has her own lash line. She sells cosmetics and shit. At 17, she's doing okay.
Wow.
And my youngest, I don't really try to force them to do things. But like, if they just see me doing it and they see how much I like it, I don't know if it's just to spend time with me or to say, Daddy, look, I could do it. Like my daughter comes and she fucking kicks me in the stomach, jab, cross, hook, right kick. Like, you know. So that's always fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they definitely.
No, go ahead.
Follow. No, I think they definitely like they look at what I do more than they do what I tell them to do.
Right. And what's interesting about kids is what I found with my daughter, like if there's a certain move we're going over, like boxing wise, let's say frustration meets the session, right? It's like, it blocks the session. Sometimes I'll just, let's move on. That's it. We're done. The next time we work on that particular move, she got it. Kids are weird that way.
Yeah.
There's always, sometimes it happens with adults, but more so with kids.
Yeah.
Like if we're trying to go over a hook and the elbow's too high or something, level it out. And it's just that we're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Just stop. A week later passes, somehow that pivot is there, the hook is level to the jawline. I'm like, oh shit. And that's happened countless times with my daughter, which I find fascinating. I think kids are like that. I think the development is quicker. They get it quicker. Like they don't have any bad habits. Their body is, they're able to mold it to what they want it to be, I guess.
Yeah, they're like brand new.
So dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
some
dope.
people, like sometimes, like some people takes them a lot longer to get it because they have years of, sorry about the Texas. They have years about not doing anything or years of moving bad.
Right.
You know? Everyone's different. Like we just brought on some kids. I got some kids that I like trained for 6 months, and all of a sudden they're bench pressing like 300 pounds, squatting 500 pounds. And I have guys that I trained for years that aren't even close to those numbers. And probably it'll take them a few more years to even reach that. It all depends.
And when did you start with the Mui Thai?
I started in Seward. When I was in Seward. Yeah, I used
not in Seward Park.
No, not in Seward. not in the lunchroom.
Seward Park was the high school we went to, and there was no Mui Thai classes there.
Nah, there was mad spades going on. Everybody was kind of class to play spades. Yeah, I started when I was in Seward. I started boxing when I was in Seward. I started boxing at Church Street when I was in Seward. And then I started Mui Thai when I was at BMCC. So when I was like 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what inspired the striking game to add kicks to it? What just no particular reason, you just tried it and you liked it?
I was boxing. I was like boxing and I was like, damn, this shit. I wasn't doing it a lot. I went like once every other week. I just thought it was cool to do. And then one of my friends was like, oh yeah, we're doing some shit called San Shao. And that's like a Chinese form of kickboxing. It just has throws in it. It's like wrestling. I was like, all right, whatever. He was my friend. He was like, yo, come with me. I'm scared. I don't want to go by myself. So I was like, yeah, fine, I'll go. Yeah. So I went to do that. I was like, oh, this shit is pretty cool because I'm throwing punches and this nigga's grabbing me and body slamming me like nothing. I feel stupid. I don't want to feel stupid. What if somebody like slams the shit out of me? This is more realistic. Yeah. You know? Because if you're nice with your hands and I just rush you and I'm bigger than you, if I slam you on concrete, you're done.
Right.
I want to learn how to not allow people to slam me. And then that has some kicks in it. Then that guy stopped that program. It was some like a bunch of dudes meeting up in a studio. Then that got me back over to Church Street and I met a guy named Jason. Remember Jason Strout?
Yes.
I trained with Jason. Jason trained under some dude in Wisconsin.
Jason Strout was around our age?
Jason Strout is probably a year or two older than us.
Is he black?
No, he's white. He's crazy ass white boy, long hair. He has a skull tattoo. He trains at Church Street. He did the Friday night fights.
Yes, I know. Yes, I do. He's older than us. He's a little older than us. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Older. Yeah.
There was another guy named Jason who you boxed, who used to go to school with us, but he also boxed. And I want to say he was like black. He had light eyes.
Nah.
You know who I'm talking about?
I probably know him by face.
Yeah, anyway, but he was a good friend. Apparently not.
You used to be a friend, kind of.
Yeah, he was a good friend of yours. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker doesn't even remember his name. Maybe I got the name wrong.
You're talking about Wesley.
Wesley.
Yeah. Wesley.
Jason Wesley.
Wesley used to skate. And Wesley, if you're listening to this, Wesley used to fall a lot. Then Wesley stopped skating. And he got nice at boxing, and he was just laying everybody out.
Yeah, so I've seen him in the gyms before.
He got nice. Not sure, but I know he got up to the point when I was younger, he had already had 20 fights.
Wow.
When we were younger, he already had 20. He got nice. But yeah, I started training with Jason, and I was like, yo, this shit is fly as fuck. I never forget how I met Jason. I went to the gym. I was like, yo, this dude named Dave Mui, who actually owns a gym called King's Combat in Queens. If you listen to this, Dave, I appreciate you for teaching me everything. Dave was like, yo, I'm not teaching anymore. Go to Church Street. Look for a guy named Jason. Went to Church Street, looked for a guy named Jason, went to the front desk. I was like, I'm looking for a guy named Jason. I'm thinking it's going to be some brolic ass muscle black dude who's like nice with his hands and kicks the shit out of everybody. I look in the ring and they're like, there goes Jason over there. So I see a black guy and a white guy sparring in the ring. And then I see the white guy hamming up this black dude. And the guy was maybe like 40 pounds heavier than him. He was bigger. He was more muscular. And this dude, Jason, he had a little gut. Jay, I'm sorry. He had a little gut at the time. Super lanky. Like, the only white guy in the gym. fucking 15 years ago at Church Street. And he was just like slick, like washing this dude up. He went a whole round without maybe throwing 2 jabs. Made the dude look ridiculous. I was like, that's Jason. I'm fucking with this nigga. So ever since then, like I got turned on to this shit. I went to Thailand, stood there for a couple months, like really learned the art. And then I thought I was gonna be a fighter. Now I was like, I went to Thailand. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be a fighter at all.
Wow. How was your experience in Thailand? How did you survive out there? You just have money saved and you went to Thailand to study the martial art?
At the time, Thailand was mad cheap, like mad cheap. So all I did was, I think I have an iPhone 3GS. So I was like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna book a one-way ticket over there. And then I'll just TripAdvisor everything. So I booked all my hotels while I was out there. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just fly over here and stay over there for a week and stay over there for a week. Everything was super inexpensive. Like when I first got there with my girl, I was like, yo, babe, we're gonna ball out. We're here in Thailand, get whatever you want. Got like mad fish, a bunch of bottles of wine, like a bunch of cakes, everything you could get at the restaurant. Long story short, the bill came, it was like $42. It was ridiculous. It was, like over here would have been like maybe a $500 meal. It was
Right.
$42. We came back with money. It was like hard to spend money at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was dope. But just traveled around from gym to gym. Shit was fly. But just like looking at the culture, seeing how they fight, how they train, why they fight, it was like these niggas are fighting for different reasons. I'm fighting for like recreation. It's fun. These dudes gotta like survive. This is how they eat. Like they have children fighting for money.
Yeah, they're all like journeymen. And I mean that as a way of life. Like they're just kind of, you know, it's what they do. It's a way of life for them. But they're constant. First of all, they have tons of, and I say journeyman in the respect of like they have tons of fights.
Yeah.
They fight anybody.
They fight like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
Crazy. Pays bills. I mean, yo, like a fight, like, all right, so the 9-year-old that asked what his purse was. The 9-year-old's fight, I think he got like 400 baht for that one fight. 400 baht at the time was like maybe $2. You got like $2 to fight. I don't know how much $2 can stretch.
And what did you gather? What was the sentiment there? Did they seem happy? What was the disposition of most of the fighters?
Appreciative. It's like I don't know. It makes you appreciate what you have. Like for your stupid ass Karen moments. Yeah. When the elevator doesn't come fast enough, or your internet service on your phone is too slow. You're like, wow, I'm bitching about nothing. Like this nigga's walking around with like fucking barefoot on rocks to go get.
So what happens is, you know, we live in such a capitalistic world here in the States that everything is kind of like, you know, we have so much that we have, you know, that we have a lot more to complain about. Trivial bullshit. You know, we're not appreciative that way. They are stripped to bare bone. What they're doing is very primal and they're surviving. So they don't have the fucking time or the audacity to fucking complain. We have the audacity, this fucking entitlement, you know? And we have a lot of bullshit to complain about. They are, it's strictly like, I'm fighting to get money, provide food for my family, bang, and I'm super appreciative of what I have, of what, you know, where I'm at.
Yeah, that I'm even able to fight for money.
Exactly.
Like that's even an option. Shit's
Right.
crazy. Shit's crazy. I enjoyed it though. I still enjoy the martial art. I like it. I mean, think about it. It's like in boxing too. You have 4 different strikes. And then you have to come up with a bunch of different variations of those strikes. Like how to like, and it's fun. It's fun. I like it. I enjoy it.
Right.
The fact that like, you know, getting punched in the face is annoying. But when you look at it in the perspective, it's like, okay, I fucked up. That's why I got punched in the face. And I look at everything like I look at rollerblading because that's like my first sport. It's like I fell because I fucked up. Oh, all right. Sergio hit me with this lead right because I stepped left and I squared off. Like don't do that again.
Right.
If I do it too many times, I'm not getting up. Same thing with skating, you know? So it's like, I appreciate that aspect of it. And not for nothing, if I could think while you're trying to punch me in the face, it makes life pretty easy. You know what I'm saying? If I could like gather my thoughts and think very quickly and maintain composure, when it comes to like a business decision, this shit is fucking easy.
Man, that was beautifully said. I couldn't agree with you more. The stress of fighting, or training and having the emotional and physical capacity to endure that suffering. A lot of things outside the gym are just like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's what I love about martial arts, because it gives you that, man. It gives you that peace. You fucking, you become one with yourself.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like movement meditation. You need that self-imposed stress to kind of like see how far you can push yourself, or, release whatever anxiety you have, or test your composure. That shit is really important.
So most of the Mui Thai training was done at Church Street.
A lot of it was, and then I stopped for a while.
Because I was going to ask what the difference is between a regular boxing gym and Mui Thai. And can you share those comparisons? Like when you went to Thailand to train, what would you say was the biggest difference, like as far as the culture of it? I mean, it comes from Thailand, so what was like?
They're just
an obvious difference.
They're just fucking better. At Thai boxing, they're better. But as far as
training for much longer, right? Throughout the day, it's like all day long, or wasn't like that?
It's like 2 hours in the morning, break in the middle of the day, 2 or 3 hours at night, 6 days a week, Sunday off. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's not difficult. It's not hard. So like, for example,
it's sustainable training. You're not fucking, bashing your legs against shit for 2 hours out the day. It's drills.
Yeah, it's drills, and it undulates. Some days are high, like intense, and some days are low intensity. Like some days are just like, some days are pad work, some days sparring, some days knees, some days clinching. It's a lot more things to be aware of. But as far as like boxing and Muay Thai, the stance is way different. The way you put combinations together, way different. Like if you put a Thai boxer in straight boxing,
he can get his ass kicked.
Bad.
Yeah, because they're squared up.
Bad. It's not even that. It's like
always like right here.
It's not even that. The way boxers move, how they put together combinations, the feints as a whole is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
Like there's some people that build an entire career off of just feints.
Yeah.
There's Mayweather's won fights just off of jabs, like a lot of jabs, and actually he's really good at lead rights. Like he just throws.
He's really good at everything,
and the best at everything.
Different stages in his career, he displayed different parts of his arsenal. When he could fight in the inside too. Like people forget, you get him in the phone booth, he's gonna throw uppercuts in there, body shots. He's gonna go around with the right hook. I mean, he's nasty. He can fight inside. He can fight long. He can pot shot you to death. He got speed. The one thing I would say that was really decreased late in his career was his legs. But he was so good with the upper body movement that it didn't make a difference. But he preserved his legs a lot more. It wasn't as much movement. When he was younger, he would like zip side to side, in and out.
Yeah. I think it's because like Bernard Hopkins was really good at that too as you age. And I think as you age, all right, generally speaking, like I'm a trainer, so like we'll talk trainer speak. Like physiologically speaking, the first thing to decrease as you age is power. You're just not as explosive as you were before. So before I used to jump on shit really fucking high and just power bomb shit. Now it's a little difficult. I can still jump relatively high, but it's a little bit more difficult than it used to be. Mayweather used to be super explosive. As you age, your speed slows down. But the thing is, with that experience, you get more exposure to different movement. So now you can read people a little bit better. So now I don't really have to move as much because I've seen you before. I've seen your style before. I know what a right hand looks like. I know what a hook looks like. I know that you're setting me up for, this uppercut or whatever.
Right.
So he just didn't need to move as much.
Yeah, it's ring generalship.
Yeah.
Just seeing things 3 moves ahead.
Yeah, setting you up is like, all right, I'm gathering data. All right, every time you throw a jab, you tend to do this. Or you always do the same combination. I feint like this, you always step that way. I feint like this, then you step that way. Okay, I know that, I know this. Boom, round 4 comes, got him. I know exactly what to do because I've drawn out every single weapon you have.
Right.
Yeah. Nigga, he's the fucking. That's what I was just listening to. I've been hooked on Floyd Mayweather interviews. He doesn't do many.
I don't care for his interviews.
I really do. They're good.
Oh, good. Why do you like his interviews?
Because the thing is that he can't articulate his true intelligence. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. He's not articulate, right? So, go ahead. Finish your thought, because I know.
I feel like you're going somewhere with this. No, the thing is it's like he's so smart and he can't even express how smart he is because he doesn't know the words. He doesn't know how to form together or piece together words in order to express his true meaning and say what he means. And then, of course,
what interview were you listening to in particular that kind of inspired this? Was it the Drink Champs?
The Drink Champs one was good. The Drink Champs one was funny as fuck. He is like, money's no problem. The thing is this. Yo, he went on with that shit.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
The thing is this. I'm a hell of a fighter.
Yeah.
I fight for money. No, that annoyed me, that Drink Champs thing, because it came, and I said this in another episode of the podcast, like 2 episodes ago, because I just watched that. No, fuck it, I'll talk about it again. It rubbed me the wrong way, the way he was talking about women. Like, I don't know, that annoyed me.
What did he say?
They were like, why'd you get into a fight with T.I.? Noriega asked him why he got. He was like, well, that was always some some bitch shit, So he was referring to, I guess, T.I.'s wife, Tiny. And long story short, he goes ahead and says, I'm a king. When I feast, everyone can have leftovers. Like, talking about women like that. And like, he kept on saying that. And I don't know if it's because it's in the heels of his wife passing away or whatever, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, dude, you're on this platform, and that's the way you want to talk. Like, it rubbed me the wrong way. I think he's a genius in the ring, but I find him so uninteresting in his interviews, because I know where he's going as far as how he fights and how he's managed his career, and he's made some really good decisions. But in terms of like his relationships with women, it's so backwards and dirtbag to me that I wish he was a little better. You know what I'm saying? Like as a role model. But maybe I'm asking for too much. I just think he's a dirtbag. I think in that sense, I think he's a supreme dirtbag. Like,
that's a fact.
And I think
I need the timestamp on that shit. I didn't get through the whole podcast yet. I need the timestamp on that one.
Yeah, but also it's like I can appreciate the artist for their artwork. So his contribution in my world is his fucking beautiful display of boxing.
How do you feel about Kanye?
I feel
about artists that are like different.
I feel the same way about Kanye. I love his music, but the bullshit that he goes off on, I can ignore. It's harmless to me. It doesn't affect me, but I can ignore. When people are like, I can't stand that guy. I never felt like that way about him. His contribution to music is so much bigger and inspiring to me that I don't allow that other noise to interfere. The same thing with fucking like Michael Jackson. And I can listen to the music, and I don't know why certain things affect me more than others, like hearing it. But I've heard Michael Jackson about going after kids for years, but it never bothered me. I'm like, yo, you see this moonwalk though? And this is the psychological thing behind it. Maybe because I've been listening to Michael Jackson since I was a kid. And I have so many good memories of being at house parties and see my mother as a young woman with her friends dancing. And I hold those memories so close to me that I'm not allowing him fucking the kids penetrating my world. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone got a sacrificial lamb, you know what I'm saying? You know, but it's weird, right? But meanwhile, I'm getting all bent out of shape because Mayweather says something about a Tiny, T.I.'s ugly ass wife. Like, you know, I don't get it. You know, it's weird how you process shit.
Some things affect people more than others. I guess that's what it is.
You gotta be open and not care too much.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, fuck it.
It is what it is. But like that's what I've been listening to lately. Like just like what makes certain people tick, what makes them move, you know, shit like that. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that.
I've always thought Kanye was mentally ill. Like, you know, when he started with all that, I never took it too serious. But people get really bent out of shape. Like, oh, when he was like hugging Trump, I felt more bad for him. I didn't take that personally. When he called Trump dad, I didn't take that shit personally.
You called him dad? I had no idea he did that.
Yeah, he didn't say dad, but he was like, you know, you're like a father to me. And Trump was like, okay.
Wow.
He was at the Oval, the White House, spitting that crazy shit.
Yeah. Lil Wayne was over there too, like a couple months ago.
Yeah, I mean that bothered me. But once again, you know,
Michael Jackson doesn't.
I forget about it quickly because Lil Wayne, man, is fun to listen to. I like his music.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, have you seen the documentary Fight World? It's on Netflix.
Possibly.
Dogs, do me a favor, man.
Watch. Go to different countries and they fighting styles. Yeah. The Senegalese shit was crazy.
The what?
There's like Senegalese wrestling.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was like the whole village came out to support their fighters.
Yeah, and like you figure Senegal is like a rural country, and then you look at the video, you look at the footage of like Senegal, what they show you in Fight World, and then they said their purses are like $900,000. Like, where are they getting $900,000 from? Like the dude rode in on an elephant. You know what I'm saying? He lives in that hut right there. He's gonna do with $900,000. Like, how does this town have that much money?
Riding on this majestic beast, and it's not a broke down elephant. This elephant has its tusk. Like,
it's clutch. It's not a lemon. It's not a lemon. It's a good one.
He's moving around the elephant. The funny thing is that all his fans and all his supporters are like, they're wearing shit from like 2001, right? They got Mecca shirts. Is that
a Mecca shirt?
You ever wonder what happens to the clothes you give to the Salvation Army because you're trying to be a good person, right? You wonder why this dude from Sangali or wherever the fuck we're talking about is wearing cross-color pants in 2020.
That's funny as fuck. They have iPhones though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the buildup for some of these fights is pretty wild.
Give me 1 second.
Which is your favorite? So Frank Grillo was the host and the producer of Fight World, which is on Netflix. And he visited, how many countries would you say he went to? Like 12? It was like a 12-part series.
I don't know. A lot. That's a dope job.
Oh man, that was dope. I actually know him. He's been to Mendez Boxing Gym. He's a super dope guy, and he boxes. And I was like, damn man, what a hell of an idea to execute.
Yeah, that shit's dope as fuck.
I'm jealous.
I would have loved that.
Meanwhile, I tried to come up with the same idea. I just went to Church Street and Gleason's. And when I went to Gleason's, it was closed. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
But that was really good, man. Did you see the Macho Camacho documentary?
No, I heard about it. I heard it just came out like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Do you remember Camacho as a boxer when you were a kid?
Macho Camacho, yeah. Yeah, I remember like leopard trunks and like a jerry curl, mad flashy.
A lot of thigh. He showed a lot of thigh.
a lot of thigh. Not oiled up.
Mad oiled up. I couldn't get away with that. My thighs are mad milky white.
No, I would never.
I think he
That was
won
the
manga
80s.
one time.
That was the 80s. Just mad coke and thighs.
Mad coke and golden brown thighs. The coke must have been different back then, man. He must have had that pure. He probably got high before fights.
He had to. I think everybody
So,
did.
man, how does that like you're gloved up? You know, you got the tanga on, the leopard striped tanga, and like what you say, yo, give me a hit.
Has to. Yo, there's this boxer, Argentinian boxer, Nicolino Luch. You ever heard of him?
The one with the greatest defense.
Yeah.
He was like this.
Yeah. He bald head. He looks like,
and he got the crown. Like
yeah. He looks like a fucking bus driver.
all the footage on him is in black and white though, right?
Yeah. There's one that's in color. He's fighting some Japanese dude, and he's like real slick with it. That dude used to drink and smoke in between rounds.
How good were the guys he was fighting? He's going out in history as one of the best defensive fighters of all time. His head movement was bananas.
Yeah, I think the Japanese dude he fought was undefeated. He took his title away. He's like one of the few dudes in boxing that went around without throwing a punch. I think Willie Pep was the only guy to do that.
Wow.
Too, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But that is fucking impressive, that head movement.
Yo, he's slick as fuck. He looks like somebody's fucking drunk uncle. The fact that he used to smoke and drink in between rounds is crazy.
No, they used to let him drink and smoke in the corner, like when he
In
went to the
between
corner.
rounds, he used to smoke in between rounds. Like it's a thing. You can Google it. You can Wikipedia it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just dope. Just dope. Some people are just built different.
Yeah, nah, man, that is wild, and it's crazy because we have boxers now, and there's so much more given to them, like fighters, you know, just in sense of training and stuff. Do you think that really serves them well, like the elevation training? Or the gadgets, the Cobra bag, you think a lot of it is a wash, or it's like a mix? It's like
I think it's a mix. Like
I do too.
Like scientifically speaking, like humans haven't evolved that much. The way we train, the way we recover is definitely like more technologically advanced. But the thing is like belief. Because there were times where I trained people and I was like, yo, this is the perfect program for you. And they didn't believe it. And they just wouldn't follow through with the intensity. And then there's guys like Mayweather. Mayweather does the worst things you could possibly do scientifically to get in good shape. The worst. Like as far as the time he trains, generally what he eats, from what his workout regimen is, what they show. But the intensity that he puts forth in that aspect of training, like supersedes all the dumb shit that he does.
Interesting.
He just works harder. And then to top it off, like, I mean, if you want to get good at boxing, you got to box more. Like you don't bench press.
Right.
That's a difficult thing. That's difficult in training athletes because like I train a couple of rugby players. I train a few boxers.
Players have big asses.
Yo, they're fucking brolic.
Yo, I see rugby players, their legs are like this. I'm like, yo, that rugby player got a fat ass.
Yo, that nigga would turn up on you. He'll run a 4:40 in 4 seconds. Yo, mad fast.
Mad fast.
OG.
Like bulls.
Yo, these niggas are animals. And the thing is with them, like with most athletes, they turn everything into a sport. It's like, oh, you squat 500, I want to squat 505. And it's like, nah, you don't need to. Like squatting 505 is not going to make you run fast to tackle somebody harder or fucking kick somebody harder. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of what I do now is like talking people off the edge in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
You hear about it, this overtraining is a real thing too. Do you have
not too many people overtrain.
people act like they do, right?
Yeah, like you do not work hard enough to overtrain at all, homie. Because even if you worked out 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're still sitting down for the other fucking 22 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're not overtraining. You don't work hard enough. You're not strong enough. You don't run fast enough to do it.
Do you think that some people take longer to recover though? Like some people do you find what if someone is, I guess you got to get into a
That was a great statement. So there is under recovery.
Yeah, I mean, where you just kind of like you feel exhausted all the fucking time. What would you tell someone for that? Like if they just feel like I'm training, I feel exhausted. It's a lack of rest, or like a supplement or food.
Yo, sometimes it's just like water. It's like little shit like water, like not enough protein. Like it's like very little things move the needle. You know what I'm saying? Like you box with someone, right? You train them. It would be in their best benefit for you to just fucking excuse me 1 second. It would be in their best benefit for them to do a jab cross in every direction for 2 hours straight for 3 months. That would be the best thing for them to be good at boxing. But they don't want that.
No.
So this is where the entertainment comes into play. So sometimes it's just something that simple.
Yeah. That's the thing with like boxing fitness training, is that to be a good boxer, you got to box every day. You got to go be in the gym every day, working on the fundamentals. But if you're seeing someone once a week, you want to add a little flash and mix it up nicely. You can't fuck around and just do. When I went to Cuba and I boxed, I just went out there for recreation, and we went out there for humanitarian reasons. That's what we were allowed. They weren't allowing us in Cuba, so we brought like one pair of wraps. So like, here for humanity, and we threw them at them. We threw them shits like Trump threw toilet paper at the Puerto Ricans.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me in.
Yeah, I hear Cubans are different.
Yo, so the Cuban boxers were so fucking diligent in their training. I mean, dogs, they were all in the assembly line behind each other, and they were just doing a jab for like 20 minutes. My ADD ass was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah.
In my mind, I wasn't vocal about it, but I was like, damn, I feel that shit in my right calf. And he had us doing this shit for like 20 minutes. Just step for like 20 minutes. But that's what they do every day, and that's why they're the best boxers in the world. They got the best amateur boxing team.
Yeah, I hear they have a good wrestling program too. I think Cubans are really good. Actually, they're pretty good Olympic lifters too. This whole sports program is insane. Yeah, these are nice at everything. But that's what it takes. Being bored. Like I coach like other gym owners on how to like run a gym and like how to keep their shit open. And they're like, the first question I always get like, yo, what's the secret? What is it? It's like, yo, you got to get comfortable being fucking bored. It's monotonous. You do the same thing every single day. And then the following week, you try to get just 1% better. Just literally like 1% better. So like, for example, you throw your jab. Now you need to learn how to pivot and jab, and then cross step and jab, and then L step and jab. And then you just try to get that better. That's it.
Yeah. Wait. So you're saying that gym owners come up to you and they ask you, coach them for what? For like a bit, how to stay afloat business wise?
How to run a business.
And so that's their problem most of the time. You find that they just kind of they get bored with the monotony of it.
A good portion of the time. A lot of people are at different stages, and some people need different things. So like, for example, like we're athletes, right? We both athletes. Like if you're coaching me in boxing, like my coaches now, I have coaches for everything. My coaches now, if you tell me to do this a lot, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't get bored. Because I could find a little win in everything. And I think it comes back from the skating shit. Like I used to bust my ass. It's like, okay, I didn't land the trick, but at least I didn't fall this time. It's a win. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with the boxing shit. All right, like you washed me up for 5 rounds. All right, this time you only washed me up for 3 rounds. I'm getting better. I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? I find the win. So some people, it's difficult for them to find the win. And some people just need to know the tactics and understand the win. So some people need more technical stuff and some people need more emotional support and more ways to understand that they're winning. So like for you, you train a client, you're like, yo, Sergio, I'm not losing weight. I don't know what's going on. My left hook is, and you're like, yo, you're like, look at the footage. Your left hook is better. Look at, you were trash before. I mean, it's still trash now, but it's not as trashy. So you help them find their win. And then other guys, you're like, yo, just turn your foot like this. And they're like, okay, I see what you mean. I'm not able to do it, but I know if I do it a lot, I'll get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
No, I understand what you're talking about totally. It makes total sense. And it's nice to hear from you because it's a reminder to me as well. You know,
What's up?
it's really helpful to hear it from you because you know your shit. And it's funny because those tweaks are little tweaks. Those are little things that make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes people don't notice it.
What was that?
Sometimes people don't notice they're winning.
Right.
Like, so you look back and you're like, wow, I'm not even this, like, yo, we're winning right now. You're doing a fucking podcast. You're a fucking comedian. You're a coach. Like, where we are. You know what I'm saying? I own a gym. I got 2 beautiful kids. I'm married. Like, shit is fucking dope. I'm really annoyed by this COVID shit. You know how much my taxes are? And I gotta pay taxes and I didn't get to make money. Like, fuck you, government. But then I really think about it. It's like, all right, what's the win? The fact that I really wished I had these problems 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I wish I made enough money so the government could tax me so much that I had to pay them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand totally.
Yeah, this shit is getting mad fucking like, like what is it?
You could, when I was
backing up.
No, when I was working at the gyms, I felt the same way you did. I remember, and it's different when you kind of you attract people who want to train with you. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a community of people who like you and like your team, and they're into it, right? And then there's like sometimes you're in a position in gyms as a trainer, you feel like you're on the hunt for clients. I remember like being in a gym and you had to I seen trainers trying to recruit clients. Some motherfucker be on a leg extension, just on their phone. And then a trainer will go up to them with a fucking notepad like, hey, do you know if you sit back and look forward and, just try to sell this shit to someone who doesn't even really want to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
That was rough, man.
That's rough, man. That shit is rough. And then the only reason why the guy ends up training with you is because his wife told him, you better start training. Your cholesterol is up. Sam, your cholesterol is up. So now you got this client who hates training, doesn't really want to be there. He's paying $150 for a session on his lunch break when he'd rather be having a martini with his buddy.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
And now you're making $35 off that shit.
Yo, that shit was the worst.
Yo,
so get all of this and I get this much?
Yeah, yo, that shit is dirtbag, bro. And you gotta wear this shirt.
Yeah, you gotta buy it.
Name tag.
You gotta buy it too. Yeah, I remember when I first opened the gym, right? When I first opened the gym, it was like a good maybe 6 or 7 months before anybody paid me $1. I used to sit by the door like that. Like, please, somebody come in. Somebody come in for free. I'll train you for free right now.
I don't know why I picture you petting your Weimaran's ears, just looking at the door.
I'll train you. Yeah, I was mad sad. How many times I was like, yo, this is a fucking mistake. This isn't gonna work. I should just go back and find another job.
And that's some people start rolling in the gym, right? Word of mouth kicked in, and it was like, bomb.
Yeah, and even then, I still had the thing to sell. Like, I still had to try to sell them. I had one dirtbag sales scheme, all right? This is important. This is a good sales tip for anybody looking to open up a gym. So back in the day, Craigslist was popping, right? So I got this idea. I sat alone with my thoughts, I was stressed out.
You had to buy yourself meeting, Capadonna style.
I was literally like pacing around. What the fuck am I gonna do? What the fuck am I gonna do? What sells? What sells? What should sell? And then I was like, yo, you know what? I put out an ad on Craigslist to train any girl, right? To train girls. I was like, yo, free training, just to get a bunch of girls in there so I could put some YouTube videos on. Then we went from a bunch of girls, and then all of a sudden the ad picked up strippers. So I had like 14 strippers in my gym. Literally. I was like, yo, I'll train you all for free. And then I put out another ad on Facebook. So I had the stripper ad on Craigslist, and then a regular ad on Facebook. Just come in, I'll train you for free for 2 weeks. So I had the desk. You see kind of like how me and you are staring at each other? And the gym was in the background. And there were mad strippers back there clapping their ass, doing burpees. And I would be like, all right, so our memberships are 3, 6, and 12 months. Which one would work best for you? And it would be like that. Yeah, I'm going to sign up for 12. Yo, that blew my gym up. Blew my shit up.
Wow.
That shit, I think I got like 50 clients off of that. I paid all my bills off, and I went home with like maybe like $200 a week, but all my bills were paid off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are any of those strippers still working with you?
Nah, I'm still friends with them on like Facebook.
Yeah. That's a hard job. I was thinking about what are strippers doing during COVID, and I'm like, they're killing it.
Open.
What was that?
Strip clubs are open. They're open. Yeah, it was like a thing, like how gyms can't be open, how this shit can't be, but strip clubs are open.
Yo, I had a client, and it was 2 dudes I was training, right? So they're splitting the session, that I had them do like partner drills, and I'm doing this shit outside, Dan, like sometimes you gotta get creative, right? I got a heavy bag on the fence, right? One of them shows up alone. I'm like, yo, where's your buddy? He's like, oh man, he's still in Atlantic City this week. I'm like, Atlantic City? He's like, yeah, he had a wild night at a strip club. I'm like, a strip club in the middle of COVID? Like, there wasn't even a strip club open. It was like a strip club tent.
Wow.
You go with your mask, they get the gun to your head. Girls like this, twerking with the mask on. I'm like, yo, how does this shit even work?
In a down economy, those are the things that go up: drugs and sex.
Yeah, man. I found out hilarious. I couldn't concentrate for the remainder of the session. I'm thinking about this dude getting a lap dance with a mask on in a tent with plastic windows.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, bro.
I wonder how far away like you had to park from the tent. Like if I could just like witness the stripping without having to like get out my car.
For real. Yeah, but people make it happen, man. People get creative. Like if like say you're a stripper who's like pro pro Fauci, like I'm gonna 6 foot distance, I'm gonna wear my mask, I'm gonna listen to what Fauci said. You know what? Those strippers are coming out with OnlyFans pages.
Yo,
and killing it, dogs.
Yeah.
That's clean.
Making like 6 figures.
Yeah. Yo, I'm about to come out on OnlyFans, dog. Yeah. Like, listen, no girls gonna want to sign on to my OnlyFans. There's some gay dudes who I'm sure will be interested. Fuck it. Y'all have a crazy gay demographic.
Yo, I was like, some girls I follow, they were posting their checks because like, they're just friends of mine. And then people were like, I guess people were talking shit about them. They're like, brokey. And they would post like how much they get deposited. Yo, $15,000, $16,000, $20,000 a month on OnlyFans. It's just crazy.
That's a lot of bread.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot. Some of them have like, you figure if you have like 300,000 followers, right? And you have a 10% penetration rate, because that's this is what I teach my guys as far as like marketing's concerned.
Yeah, now you're talking about boss coaching talk. I like it.
Yeah. And you talk about conversion. So like 300,000 followers, 10% conversion rate at $1 a month. That's 30 grand. You know what I'm saying? No. That's mad bread. Why not? Imagine if you sell your OnlyFans for $5. If you really fly, you get 15.
Yeah, I mean, at what cost though, man? Right? It's like you're showing the goods. I mean,
What we the judge?
I'm not judging, man. I'm fascinated by people's hustles.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by it.
Get
I
your
got a
bread.
bunch of animals. What was that?
I'm saying, like, the girls have to get your bread. Do what you got to do. Get it.
Yeah, for real. I'm trying to get it. I'm exploiting my animals. I got 8 snakes. I took mine to a photo shoot the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's right. You had like mad pythons.
Yeah, I still do. Bro. See,
how big is the biggest one?
Oh no, but the ones I had back in the days, I don't have anymore. These are smaller ones. My biggest one right now is like 7 feet.
That's like regular. That's not too impressive.
I mean, 7 feet. 6, 7 feet. But one of them has the potential of getting bigger. But I can't tell you too much about that because they're an invasive species in the Everglades. So I don't need the wildlife conservation unit rolling up on my.
The copy, cut this shit out. Cut it out then.
Knocking on my door.
No, I feel you.
Do you remember that? Do you remember me having a bunch of reptiles as a kid?
I do. You remember my friend Leo? Remember Leo?
Yes.
He had a monitor one day. We roomed with each other back in the day, like a long time ago. I was like 22. He had a monitor that was, he said it was 6 feet long.
Yeah, with the tail, probably 6 feet long.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it was a Savannah monitor, so his tail wasn't too long. So the stump of his tail was this big. The shit was like about as big as my pit. It was like fucking scary that it had its own room in our apartment. So one day we got home because he laid out dirt. He had a 3-bedroom in the hood. So he had one whole bedroom just for his monitor and his reptiles. He had dirt laid out on the floor in the projects.
Wow.
Dirt laid out on the floor should look like a forest. Anyway, long story short, we came back from skating. Window was open. Monitor was gone. Shit crawled out the window. We lived on the 5th floor. There was like tales from the hood stories. Like every once in a while, people were like, yo, I saw your monitor over here. Like, no bullshit. It stood around the hood for a while.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You never found it.
Never found it.
Wow, that's a shame.
Yeah, those shits are scary. And it sounded like it growled. You just be like, argh. It was fucking terrifying.
Was it tamed?
Yeah, because it was always fed. So it was just always like sleeping.
Because an untamed monitor could be very dangerous. They could tear your ass up.
No, his head was like about that big.
Yeah, they use their tails to whip.
Yeah. If your listeners and viewers like don't know what a monitor is, Google that shit. It is fucking scary.
They're like the cousins of Komodo dragons.
Literally.
Yeah, I love all that shit, man. I wish I could have a monitor, but I can't. My wife won't let me.
That shit is fucking crazy.
The viewers, the listeners heard this story, but I had an iguana that was like around 5.5, 6 feet, and he fell out the window 8 stories high and lived.
Really?
Lived. Lived, bro. I brought him up. He was all white. He was a shock. He stood away from the window for like 3 weeks. He was smart enough to know that shit.
Wait, he turned like
he was
white.
Yeah, so I woke up. It was Thanksgiving Day. I seen him pushing the screen, rocking back and forth on my because I used to leave him loose on my window. He was going. And I went to get him, and he looked up, stuck his tongue out, and he fell. And he was surfing on the screen, 8 stories. Bam! I was like, oh, there's no doubt he's dead. And I pick him up. And I go to the lobby of my apartment building, and this old Spanish lady, oh, I just smelled, oh my God, no, it's freaked her out. Go into my apartment, he's all white. He was just shocked. I thought he broke something internally. No, dogs. He lived for like 7 more years.
That's crazy.
They're amazing animals, the way they can like just survive shit like that. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, they have hollow bones, so I'm sure he he floated down. It wasn't just like a like.
Yeah, he was also on the screen. Like, I don't know if that helped. Like, the screen was stuck to his nail. He was like, whoa. He was like back in the 90s rollerblading. Whoa.
That's fucking crazy, yo.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get another iguana. Iguanas aren't, from what I heard. I don't know.
They're not great pets.
No, they're not as smart as monitors. Like the monitor knew, like, oh, these niggas feed me. They take care of me. Like iguanas, like everybody's the bad guy, from what I heard.
Yeah, no
matter how long you have them.
Iguanas can be problematic. If you don't handle them a lot, they will whip the shit out of you. They could give you a nasty bite. Monitors too, but monitors are they're smarter animals. Iguanas are not nice. Like they're not as forgiving as monitors. A monitor may, handle correctly, they'll work with you. They'll be like, all right, I understand the arrangement we have is every other day you give me a couple of pinkies and some dog food. I'll be chill.
Yeah.
Iguanas always look at you like you're a fucking asshole. Why you have me in this project fucking apartment with the heat blasting and then the air blasting 15 minutes later? Like, get your shit together. I need some humidity in this motherfucker.
Yeah, it seems like they're always trying to run away.
Yeah, they look mad skittish. They look like a dude that's on cocaine.
They look like Macho Camacho. That oiled up like, yo.
Sure, mad thigh. Fuck, man. So today I was at the East River Park and I saw a hawk. And he tried to catch a squirrel. But it was an old-ass hawk, man. He was slow. I was like, I'm not impressed.
Okay.
I was holding pass for somebody. I was like, I'm not impressed by you, hawk. And then, 2 minutes later, what the fuck I see? A parrot.
Outside in the wild?
Yeah. So it was obviously a domestic creature lost. That shit was squawking. It was squawking. Ah, ah. And I look, I'm like, that's a fucking parrot. And not a parakeet. For all you dirtbags out there who call parrots parakeets, there's a difference. Parrots are much larger.
I had a parrot. A blue crown conure.
Yeah, it looked like a conure. Well, I think it was a Quaker actually. It was green.
Yeah.
You still have it?
Yeah, he lived. No, he died. He lived 9 to 19.
Wow.
He would still probably be alive. He died in a little accident. Shit's fucked up. Nigga was mad cool. He hated everyone.
But how'd he die? If you don't mind me asking.
He got smashed in between a door.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, that's fucking 19. That shit was sad.
That's just devastating when you lose an animal like that. I lost 2 parakeets to my ferret. My ferret, fucking weasel. Yeah, he ate them shits. I woke up to the morning. I think I might have been going to Seward Park. I was probably gonna fucking see you later in the day. To the cries of my parakeet. I go into the cage. I see my ferret, red face. I pick him up. His body was just like, he relaxed every muscle in his body because I picked him up and I spanked him and his body like swung like a pendulum. Just like that. Yeah. And then he licked his face, bit my finger, and then ran off.
Wait, have you ever lost an animal that you were like really like sad?
Hell yeah, I've had dogs all my life. That shit happened to me like 5 times over.
And like you weep or like you get sad?
Yo, ugly face cry. Yeah. Boogers coming out.
Yo, my dog almost died. I never thought I would be attached to this nigga at all. Like he almost died and that shit fucked me up, yo. I was like weeping in the emergency room. And then they got me for like 8 stacks. They were like, we could bring him back to life for $8,000. I was like, ugh.
I'm like, I'll see you on the other side.
That just made me feel mad bad. Next time he's done. He can't afford it.
Was it the dog you have now?
It was Goose.
Oh man.
Yeah, shit fucked me up. What happened was like I laid out dog food. He didn't eat it. Then my girl put dog food and water in the shit. The shit clumped up. He ate it, choked on it, started convulsing, and then went limp. His tongue fell back in his mouth. Shit was fucking crazy. Went to the emergency room. First of all, I called the Uber. I was holding this 85-pound dog. It's hard to hold a lifeless dog.
Yeah.
called the Uber. The guy was like, no, I was like, shut the fuck up and drive. I threw my dog in the backseat. He was like, no. I was like, you taking me to the hospital? I'm gonna fuck you up. I know he gave me like 1 star. I know he fucked up my whole Uber. Took me to the emergency room, walked in with my dog, bring him inside. The lady was like, yo, he's gonna be okay. And then I was like, oh, all right. And then she comes back, she's like, no, he's not gonna be okay. And then they start playing with my emotions. And then it was like, and then another lady comes in, she's like, you know what, he can be okay, but he requires this, and that. And I was like, do whatever you're gonna need to do. He's like, don't worry, Mr. Salazar, we'll take care of it. Then another lady comes in with all this paperwork and she's like, all right, it's going to be 8564. We're going to need a down payment of 50%. I was like, what? He's like, you know, we could just terminate him now if you want. I was like, damn, son.
Yeah, no, vets are dirtbags that way. You know, they could have did that shit for a few $100. They probably yo, they're dirtbags, bro. They knew you were under distress. They knew they had you, dog. You know, I mean, there was no doubt that Goose was probably dying, no doubt about it. But it was probably just lodged in his throat. All they had to do was like vacuum that shit out. 8,500?
Yeah. I spoke to somebody else about it, and they said he just went into like a shock and like, what was it? Like a sodium something shock. Like if he would have just had an IV and slept for a few hours, he would have been fine, which is more than likely what they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that shit's like a few $100.
They got me.
Yeah, it's the worst, man. It's the worst. I get into, you know, I hop from vet to vet because they be trying to always tag on shit. I've been to every vet in the Lower East Side. I'm like, you're gonna charge me all this money? I want my records. I go through my Karen moments. I want to see. I want my records. I'm always asking for my records. And when I get my records, I'm like this. Thank you very much. I will not be recommending you guys. Drop that pit bull. I get tight, man. I hate people who try to scam you.
Yeah.
They're the worst, bro.
I mean, I don't know.
Listen, man. On the flip side, they have to, you know, we're paying for their knowledge. We can't do it, right? We pay for the knowledge, right? It's just that's what it is. That's why I tried to chalk it up. When I was doing plumbing, people used to do that shit to me all the time. They're like, $700 for fixing a washer. I was like, or replacing a washer. I was like, well, you don't know how to do it, so you're paying for the knowledge.
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah, I did this in 5 seconds, but it took me like 20 years to learn how to do this in 5 seconds.
Right. Yeah, it's super dirtbag. And the thing is, man, I internalized what they're going through because I used to be a vet.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I used to work for Petland.
It's kind of like a vet, the same thing.
Yeah, I used to work for Petland discounts.
Yeah. Speaking of Petland, I tried to do a whole fish tank. That shit is the worst thing ever. It requires so much maintenance. I hate it.
Yeah, it's dogs. It's like
I got rid of it. I got hamsters now.
You got hamsters? Whenever you get bored of them, let me know, man. I'll take them off your hands. I got a bunch of hungry snakes that are gotta be like filet mignon to them. Hamsters are dirt bags, man. I got bit by a hamster one time. That shit was the worst. He hooked onto my finger right here. I was like, that fuck.
They're cool. They stay up mad late though. All they do is like spin on that wheel. They fight each other. It's all right though. It's a lot better than a fish tank, and my daughter's happy with it.
So what kind of fish did you have? Was it like a freshwater tank or saltwater?
It was a freshwater tank. It wasn't saltwater.
On the flip side, having fish is great for kids because then they learn about death. So.
You'll learn about death.
Don't learn about death. I just get mad close to the screen. You want to teach a kid about the dark side, get them fish.
Yeah.
You know how many funerals we have? I have a fish tank too. And I'm like, Charlie, that's my daughter's name. I'm like, look at your fish, like, look at your favorite rappers. The lifespan is short. They don't live very long.
So what's a rapper?
You know your favorite rap artists. They're very colorful and vibrant. but they don't live very long. Anyway, man, is there a way that that people get in contact if they're interested in the gym or anything else? Tag it all in, Pop.
Just krankbrooklyn.com. KRANK Brooklyn.com. If you're looking for training, just hit that up.
Dope, man, dope. Well, Dan, man, I appreciate your time. Sorry for the malfunction earlier, but it's a Dirtbag podcast. Been doing this shit on Zoom, but I appreciate your insight on training and all the fun stories you shared. And listen, man, if things don't work out in your gym, I'm sure you can get a great job at UPS. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even think UPS is hiring.
Yo, dogs, be optimistic. I can see you on rollerblades delivering packages like this.
Yo, I mean, I used to do the messenger thing. I thought about it, but no.
Wait, messages are dirtbags. No wonder you have that little dirtbag element to you. Messages are dirtbags.
Yeah, messenger for 14 years.
For real?
Yeah, I had my own messenger company.
I've seen you on your blades delivering some shit.
You don't remember I used to ride a bike? I used to ride a skinny track bike. I did messenger work for 14 years. I had a company. I had a messenger company before I had a training company.
Holy shit. Now, what is it about messengers that makes them so dirtbag? And that's what it is. Every messenger I see in the street is yelling at people. They're disgruntled. What is it? What is it about the messenger lifestyle? Is it the fact that you're dealing with the public? Is it the fact that you're always on that bike in all sorts of crazy weather? Is it the fact that they're getting paid by commission, not a lot of money? What is it?
Yo, my last year messenger work, I made $190,000. I made mad money.
Wow. So that's what it is.
Fucking bike. I made mad bread doing that shit.
Wow. So what is it? What is it about?
Why messengers angry?
Why they're wild? I feel like they're wild.
Because the whole fucking planet views you like a dirtbag. Oh, go through the back. Oh, wait over there.
Yo, go.
Can't take that elevator.
Yo, go on the freight.
Yeah, you can't take that elevator. Oh, who asked you to come? Who you looking for? People talk to you like shit.
So that was a genuine question. So Grant used to do messaging. Grant, and like we were talking about, we were making fun of it, but we didn't get into it because I feel like your messages have it hard, bro. The way people look at messages, the way they're treated, the way messengers respond, like in public, I'm like, yo, messages are wild.
Yo, think about it. You're getting abused. It's kind of like every single day, every interaction you have is a negative one. How are you not going to be angry?
Yeah.
Every second, a car's trying to run you over. Then you finally get to your destination and you think people are going to be happy to see you because you brought them a present. I'm bringing you presents. And go through the back. Who said you could come here? Wait over here. This wasn't supposed to be here by 5. This was supposed to be here by 5. This is the wrong package. Why'd you do? And it's like, bitch, I just came 53 blocks. I navigated through this maze of Manhattan, avoiding death to bring you this shit in a fucking half hour. You talking, fuck you. Fuck this package. Fuck this taxi. Fuck everybody. Yeah, it's like hard, yo. It's hard. But you can make money doing. You can make money doing anything.
Yeah, you can.
So I liked it. I stopped because I almost died. Like my first daughter, I got hit by a taxi. Yeah, I got stories. Sergio.
So, yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, have you had, being that you're always on wheels, I've always saw you on the rollerblades, on the bike. Have you had some really scary moments?
Yeah, so this particular moment, which made me decide to like get out of the messenger business and go to doing something else. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. I worked for a model agency at the time. It was a New York model. So this model agency, this was my particular client. This was my job. Like my goal was I picked up their books. I did all their deliveries. So that was my like big account. I had a bunch of books coming from a bunch of different, like coming from Gucci and all these like high-end places. Books are just modeling portfolios of all the images and work they've done. So I have all these books. I'm coming down Broadway and like between 27, you know where the 4040 Club is?
Yeah.
That's 25th, 6th Street. 26. Yeah, it's 26th Street. Anyway, long story short, I'm coming down Broadway. I look up at the light. The light, it just finished raining that day. Sun came out. The floor was drying up. So I'm flowing down Broadway. And if anybody is a bike messenger or just rode their bike down Broadway, if you could catch the lights, you could go all the way from literally 42nd Street down to Canal Street without stopping if you catch the lights right.
Nice.
You catch them right. So I was like, all right. I was like, yo.
This is probably before bike lanes were created.
There was no bike lanes. There was no bike lanes.
In traffic.
Yeah. So I'm looking up. I got all these books in my bag. Each book is probably the size of my MacBook Pro, maybe a little bit bigger. So I had 24 books, like pretty heavy. So I'm looking up. I'm like, boom, the light is yellow. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm moving a little slow, but I can make this. Look up. Green, yellow. Then I look over to the left and boom, I get hit. I still had the light. The shit was still yellow. That means the other light didn't turn green yet. Because it has to go to red. Then there's a 3-second delay before the next light turns green. I had this shit down to science. So I'm riding the track bike. So I look up, boom, yellow, bang, get hit. Books go flying. You're the fucking taxi driver. This is the view of you, the taxi driver. I'm holding on like this. Yo, stop the fucking car. He gets nervous. You see how your eyes opened up? He panicked just like that. He stomped on the gas. The car started going fast. I'm sliding underneath the shit like that.
No.
Yo, swear to God, sliding underneath the shit like that. He goes from where Broadway and 6th Avenue is. That avenue is really long. He goes halfway down the block. I'm underneath the car now, holding on to the axle. I have a scar in back. Like, I'm not going to take off my beanie and show you because that's cool.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm sure you believe
you have a scar.
Yeah, I believe you own scars. So there's a scar on the back of my head's banging against the floor. The car's still moving. I'm holding on to the axle. I have a burn on my, I'm not going to show you my thigh either. I have a burn on my thigh, but whatever rotates.
Yeah, the thigh, I need to see. I don't believe that shit. I need the Camacho thigh visual.
Yeah, make sure you oil it up. Under the car, my head's banging up against the floor. The thing's chopping up my thigh, like chopping through my pants. And I'm like screaming like, yo, stop the fucking car. Then I look out the side because my shit is pinned on the floor. He's still moving. The car slowed down a little bit, but he's still moving. He's doing at least 20, dragging me. Then I see feet on the ground banging on the car. Yo, stop the car. He stomps on the brakes, and you know how the car rocks back and forth?
Yeah.
Finally stomps on the brakes. The car rocks back and forth. The shit goes boom and compresses my chest, and I feel it pop, and I'm screaming, yo, get me out of here. Turn off the car because the shit is still spinning, chopping my leg up. A whole bunch of feet come out the side. They pick up the car. Don't literally lift it up, but lift up some of the weight of the car. And then somebody just grabbed me by my arms and pulled me out. And I looked up and I was like, yo. And I just fucking started bawling. My girl was literally 9 months pregnant at the time for my first daughter. 9 months pregnant. And I was holding on to that shit. I was like, yo, this is really how I'm gonna die? Like fucking being a bike messenger, this is the end of my story. And then after that, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this shit no more. Like maybe like 2 months later, I got rid of a lot of the clients, and then I went back to school. Went to school for accounting. Then changed from accounting to some other shit, and ended up doing personal training. She was crazy. She was fucking crazy. Yeah.
What year was this?
2003. 2002, 2003.
As if 9/11 wasn't hard enough, then you gotta get fucking stuck under a cab.
Gosh, it's crazy.
Because I was all around the same time. God damn. So are charges brought to this guy? What happens with that? I mean, was that even intentional, or he just panicked?
No, it definitely wasn't intentional. It definitely wasn't. Like, he panicked.
So he panicked, like, I mean, not intentional, like he wanted to hit you, but like a hit and run, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hit and run. It
was called like a no fault or some shit like that. Because the thing was, like, I had no choice but to go back to work. Like, me and my girl lived in some guy's apartment. We were renting out the apartment. I wasn't making that much at the time. And like I couldn't afford to. Damn, that shit. Damn, I remember that situation. I couldn't afford to not work. Like we were poor, and it was just me and her. Like we had nothing. We had nothing, so I had to go back to work. So, yo, that shit was crazy.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely beautiful, like what you've been able to create. I had no idea. Yo, first of all, I'm so happy that you're okay. I had no idea you dealt with that you had that experience, man. I mean, that is intense.
The shit was crazy. And then, yeah. And then, yeah, I couldn't do anything. Long story short, like we went through no fault insurance, and I got like $9,000 11 years later. Yeah. Like I didn't get nothing.
Yeah, ain't shit.
Because I went back to work like the next day. Like literally. And I didn't tell my mom what happened because my mom would have like freaked out.
I can't tell your mom shit like that.
Nah. Like, Mom, I got run over by a taxi.
Did you at least get employee of the month?
Nah.
Fuck, man. No. You should at least have a picture as soon as you walk into your messenger spot, a Polaroid picture with you on your bike. This is Dan Salazar, employee of the month.
I know. Yeah. That shit was crazy. Yeah, but the bike messenger shit, it was fun. It was fun.
That shit don't sound
I still like it. I mean, other than that, I had a pretty good record.
Yeah, you know, the thing is with that sort of work is that you have the liberty to do what you want. You're outside, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're an athlete, you're competitive. So like you're hitting these different spots at different speeds. I can see how someone with your personality could kind of thrive in that scene.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Because it's whack if you have messenger on the train.
No.
Those are whack. It's like this. I don't know why every time I see a messenger on the train, they're like this. Closed mouth smile, like with fucking roses and shit. Any close calls when you were rollerblading?
I broke my ankle at like a competition, but nothing like that, like life and death. Yeah.
Stupid shit you do as a kid, man. I remember I thought it would be a great idea, my boys, to sit on the back of a UPS truck. You know how it has that nice wide ledge? And I got on top of it, and the UPS driver knew it was sitting on top of it and sped up.
Wow.
The door's like fast. And I got nervous and I jumped off. And I did like a Rambo roll.
See, some of the shit that happened, like that's illegal. Like I'm sure you could have filed charges against that dude and sued UPS now. Yeah. Like back in the day, like that wouldn't happen. Like think about all the dumb shit you did.
As I jumped off the UPS truck and wrote, he hit the stoplight. And then my boy gets off the UPS truck and goes, and laughed at me. And I was like that. I was like,
mattered.
Whack, yo. But fun shit, man. It was fun. When it was snow really hard and the streets would actually get iced up, me and my boy used to catch taxis and allow the taxi to drag us on the floor.
Yeah.
You know? Fun shit. We used to be like, it would be like a centipede, not like our ass faces in each other's ass, but like holding each other's ankles and then having a chain.
Back in the day, shit was crazy. Now, never.
Nah, you can't get away with that shit.
Yo, but this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you. I appreciate your time, man. And sorry for the hiccups on it, but I'm so glad that we ended on that story because, yo, if I would have had to cry on the podcast, yo, my subscriptions would have went up.
I was really trying to cry. You saw it? Like I was like, come on, let it come out right now.
I was like, what can I say to get this guy crying? Because yo, if I get him to cry, I'm easily gonna get 15 likes.
No, because I was like pushing it. I was like, let me focus. Let me think about my dog at the animal hospital.
Let me add some drama to this shit. I'm gonna hook Sergio up real quick.
Yeah, I hope covered a lot of the thing, like some of the stuff you wanted to cover.
No, we did it, man. I just wanted to catch up, man. I knew it would be an interesting talk, man. So I appreciate your time. My regards to you and the fam, the gym, and all that good stuff.
Like,
I'm gonna actually go to the gym and work out one day and act like I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna be a dirtbag. I'm gonna be like, hey, you wanna live with your legs, buddy? I'm gonna start giving you a client. I'm gonna be one of those. Hey, Daddy told you how to do it. I'm like, hey, make sure you lift it with your legs. I'm gonna start fucking putting my hands on strangers.
yo, where do you train out of?
Overthrow Boxing Club was where I was doing most of the training. Yeah, and then but right now I'm just doing a bunch of outside shit. I'm actually in and out of Overthrow and then doing some outside shit, and then I got my shows and stuff. So it's a collection of different things that's going on.
I want to ask you, what's a boxing class look like?
What do you mean? What it looks like?
Like what's the all right? So like in a Muay Thai class, like generally, it's like you work on certain drills. You work on a bunch of strikes. Like for example, you do like 100 kicks left, 100 kicks right, like right crosses, and then you work on all these combinations.
I think the difference is this is more like fitness boxing, right? So we do so it's gonna be 45-minute class. The warm-up is like anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. You go over the punches. There's people who are experienced. I could get fancy with some combinations, and then we do some floor work. When I do private training, depending on the level, I'm able to be a little more flexible with how I do it. But the classes at Overthrow per se would be a 10 to 15-minute warm-up, body weight, movement exercises, and then we go over the punches, different combinations on the bag. I go around with the pads, and then end with some ab work, but it's more fitness oriented,
I really want to learn how to box.
What was that?
I really want to learn how to box. So like when we do it in Muay Thai, like we'll learn a drill, and then like if we have like a sparring session, which is not generally hard sparring, your goal is to use that combination the entire time. So like one person's working defense,
That's dope.
other person uses that combination the entire time.
That's dope.
Or like you'll have a whole round of like where I get all my weapons and all you can do is jab.
Yeah, that's dope. I feel like training like that is doable when you're training every day. But with like random classes, you're not gonna get the same people every day. It's like different people every day.
Yeah.
It's different levels in the class. So it doesn't allow that. That particular gym doesn't allow that where I was training at.
Damn.
But that's dope. I mean, when I was training, that's what I would do. I would train like that. I would go every day. And if I was training with like a group of guys, we would do that. If I was more experienced than somebody, my coach would tell me, all I want you to do is use that jab, up and down with that jab. And they'd be like, whatever, Simon, you can throw anything you want at Sergio, and I have to work my defense and just the jab,
That's what's up. I like that.
That you get nice like that.
There's no gyms that like train like that?
I'm sure there is. I mean, Church Street and Gleason's are probably gyms that train like that. But there's so many restrictions right now with COVID that I'm not even sure if programs like that are even in effect. They're just trying to get whatever they can get. But that's kind of like your coach would have, a crew of people, and then he'll work out drills like that. There's not, classes per se that I know of that operate that way.
Damn, that's whack. Yeah, because nobody ever not too many people really get good at it.
Yeah. Like not in a class atmosphere. It would have to be, just how you trained with Coach Strout. It would be, like that. If that's the way you're brought along. And I'm sure it was done that way with the drills and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to we have it like an intermediate class, an advanced class, and then a beginner class, and you would have to graduate to those.
Yeah. Where I was working, it was pretty much there was people who were, at certain levels where you could do a little more with, and with private sessions, I could do a lot more with them, get them sparring and everything. But generally speaking, the classes were pretty much, we'll be able to appease all different levels. And you're not gonna have someone who's mad new sparring.
Yeah.
Getting their shit pushed back.
Yeah, I'm not doing no fitness class. All right.
Going
Place
home
looks cool,
like
though.
this. Going home like, yo, man, I just did this boxing class. My something ain't right.
You know what's funny? Like fucking I noticed the difference between boxing and Muay Thai. Like the Muay Thai people generally a lot nicer to the beginners.
I wanted to ask you about that too. I'm glad you brought that up because I think any martial art, I think that it's more welcoming and just nicer overall. I feel like boxing could be a little bit dirtbag. It's more.
I mean, boxing is a martial art. It's technically like,
yeah.
in the terms of it, it's martial art. But it's just like
it has a more of a street element to it.
yeah, it's a little more hood.
Yeah.
It's like the thing is like if you're coming in and you start, all right, if I could get you nice, then I have another partner to train with. I got another body. I got a different look. You know what I'm saying? And like, let's say if me or you are doing light sparring, like your coach says, it's like, all right, I can't take advantage of you, but it gives me the opportunity to work different things. So I can still get better, even though I'm working with a beginner.
Right.
As long as I'm patient.
Right.
Because everybody was trash at one point.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Just fucked up. Oh. Well, at Krank Brooklyn, we don't do that. We welcome all bodies. At Krank, Krank Brooklyn.
Now, what you want to do when you go to a gym like Krank, you want to tell the owner, hey, can you put on this song for me? Hey, can we do a different exercise? I feel like we did this last week.
Yo, oh my God. I'm like, yo, are we doing it again? You get it?
Oh, man. That's not the fucking worst, right?
Yo, honestly, like my interactions have become a lot better than what they used to be.
Why, you used to get tight?
I went from like, yeah, no problem to like, fuck you mean, do this to like now I can like take care of it a lot easier. Yeah, a lot easier.
Well, you know, when I catch myself becoming irritable or, you know, irate, you know, it's like, oh, I'm burning out. Like I need to chill the fuck out. You know, like when I catch myself getting there, that's when I'm overworked. When I catch myself being snarky and shit. Yeah. When I'm like, keep your hands up. No, not like this, like you're being chased by the cops. Right here. Like that, when I start talking like that, then I'm like, oh, I need to take a break. I'm being a little bit.
That's funny. That's great. I do that.
I do that. I mean, you know, I'll have like my little stock jokes and make fun of people, but sometimes your patience runs short because what happens is, listen, I got the classes, which I got my crew of people who I'm training, and I could do different things with. I could do those drills you're talking about. But when I'm at the club atmosphere, it's you're kind of, it's a mold of what you can do. So that's what, and with that, you're dealing with people for 45 minutes. Some of these people you'll see again, some of you won't. And if you're overworked, dogs, and you see someone throwing punches like this, you know, and you're like, turn them over. And they're like throwing karate chops. Yeah. And I'm like, your left hand. And you throw the right hand. I'm like, your other left, you know.
That's funny. That's funny.
You can get work. You can get that. You get in your head. Like,
I get it. Yo, I mean, these people are a representation of you. Yeah. They're gonna walk out that gym and they're gonna be like, Sergio taught me how to do it like this. Right, now Sergio's a trash trainer that all other trainers make fun of.
Right.
You're the CrossFit of boxing.
Right. I'm like this.
Yeah, so like, nah, I take my time. Like, I really like, that's my worst fear. Like now, it's a lot better. Like when I have a client that goes somewhere, and like I recommend it, I want them to go. I want my niggas to go in there with a Krank shirt, pay that money, and fucking look dope wherever they go.
Yeah.
Like those.
Yeah, like I pride myself on that too, man. So anytime I have someone who's going away and they tell me they hit another gym, and they, you know, and they tell me that the teacher, the instructor, the trainer, whatever, is like, oh, yo, you put some together some nice combination. That shit makes you feel good. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. I do pride myself in that. It's important.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on some Master Splinter shit, and these niggas are like, you know, it's my dojo. I gotta make sure shit is correct. So that's why I'm always studying my shit. And even like my guys, like if one of my boys, if one of my like employees is like, yo, son, I want to open up my own gym. Son, I made it. I just created a black belt. How fucking dope am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you work the overthrow, if you were like you work at overthrow, anybody or any big box place, like your goal should be to be able to create black belts. These niggas are representation of me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, their gym is dope. Yeah, I know their gym is dope. I taught them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if I did good by them, they're always gonna be like, yeah, that's my dude, Danny. I think a lot of people have a scarcity mindset, especially in training, where they're like, yo, I need all the clients. All the clients are for me. If you go to my Krank Brooklyn page, now you don't even see me anymore. It's just my guys. That's my team. They gotta shine. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to shine. You have a squad. So like, and I do it purposely. I don't post anything. Like I'm like, yo, we're taking these next 7 months. I want you to grind, put out as many videos as you can, promote yourself as much as you can, get to that black belt level. Like get dope. You're not gonna be under my wing. You can't be. I don't want you to be. I don't want you to be like me at all. Yeah. So
how many will be in a class when because you have group training? How many will be in a class?
now a lot less, but before we used to have like fucking 20 people in there. 20,
And
yeah, about 20 people.
If it's 10, it's like 5 at one station, each station, and you kind of circulate them. Is that how it works?
No. So like when you come into Krank, we do an assessment. So we figure out like we have a Zoom call. Yo, Sergio, where you want to go, what it is you want to do, what is it that you need, where you want to go, and what you're actually able to do are two different things. We figure that out. Once we figure that out, we have a system to categorize people as far as like beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then we put up like a spreadsheet type deal. I would say I would show you, but it doesn't really matter. We have a spread. Everybody has like their own like kind of like workout to where they're going, and then the floors. Everybody that's on the floor is a coach, and they understand what the person's needs are, what their limitations are. So like you come in, you want this, you want to gain strength. Sandy comes in, she's pregnant. John comes in, he has a labral tear, he had surgery. Fucking Neville came in, he had Achilles tendon surgery, so he needs something different. So we figure out the progressions of the movement that we're doing for that day, based on reps, sets, and weight on where it is they want to go
To accommodate everybody.
to attach that energy system. That's what I'm saying. It's personal training in a group setting.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that's why that fucking gym that fired me, they wanted to know how to do this system. They were like, yo, how the fuck are you getting all these people to pay you all this money and you're not like, we had like, so picture like 10 people in a group all paying $120 an hour.
Yeah.
And we working like 3 hours a day. They was like, how are you able to accommodate all these people, get them results, and then get them to buy again? Get them to consistently buy. It's like, nah, we got this.
Yeah. How long are the sessions? An hour?
It depends on the phase of training. So if training is like kind of like boxing, in season, out season. So with fitness training, everything has to be broken up into specific phases based on where it is you want to go. It's an ascension system. So kind of like school. Like you have prerequisites. You can't write your thesis on fucking boxing if you don't know the letter A, B, and C.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So first grade leads to second grade, and the second to third, like that. So we literally, it's physical education. That's literally what it is for some people. Some people just so happen to start on a higher plane than others.
That's dope. That's dope. And I feel like I don't see too much of that. So what you're doing is pretty innovative.
It's a thing. It's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. Like a lot of guys do it. Just some people don't know how to explain it. Some people don't market that much.
Yeah. Well, you're the one gym that I know that I've heard of that does it, and I seen it. Like I haven't heard so much about that, but I'm sure you're saying that you know it's a thing, but I haven't heard so much about that. And that's dope, because you know a lot of group fitness is just that, like, you know, do what you can, but it's not like really doesn't have that personal touch. And that's the one thing, like even with a boxing fitness class that I do, I try to get that personal touch to it, but it's not personal training, So what you're doing is actually personal training, but in a group session with the hopes when I have a class or whatever, is that I can recruit them to do personal training, and then we could take it further with sparring and different sorts of drills and really incorporate it into their lifestyle.
Well, how this shit came about is because I never liked personal training. I don't like one-on-one training at all. I hate it. I mean, actually, let me not say I hate it, because I probably have some clients that will listen to this, and I love them. I love you guys. I love all of you guys.
I know what you mean, though.
I don't like the fact that like I have to trade a 1 hour of my life is worth this much. I don't like that feeling. That bothers me.
Yeah. It's smart the way you're doing it. And especially when you're able to maximize the results both for you and your clients. That makes the most sense.
Yeah. And I like to hang out with a lot of people. So it's like, all right, you ever do a one-on-one, you're like, I don't like where this conversation's going. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and talk to this person.
That's funny. No, the group classes I've been doing outside, that's one thing since the pause, it has that feeling too, where we're able to do different things, but it's like in a vibe where a small group where it makes a lot of fun, It is. And you can do a number of different things.
I mean, you could do it like, because I go to a lot of people's gyms. I pay for service. I always pay for service because that's one thing. I never dispute a man on the price that he charges for anything. So anyway, I pay for service, and I see it like some people do it and some people don't. But like in a class, like let's just say we're doing a combination. It's a complex combination. This person got 2 fucking left feet. All right, instead of doing jab, cross, hook, right uppercut, straight right, and do double jab, right hand, pivot left. That's all I want. That's all you're gonna do right now because this is what you need right now. I don't want to do that. Just do this. I want you to move quick, and then it feels like personal training. And then you're like, pop the jab, like that. Again, do it again. And then they're like, they fucking get amped, and now you made something that seems boring and mundane exciting, because you show them how important it is. Now that they know it's important to you, they feel important doing it. They feel successful because they've accomplished the task you told them to do in the manner you told them to do it. Now it's fun, something boring.
Right.
And I'm sure, like, just knowing you, I know that's what you do.
Yeah.
I know it. And then you make a joke.
Absolutely. Like when you said that, I did that today. Someone might be able to do something else, but making sure that they know the importance of the steps that are needed to get there. And, and it could be a little different for you. We can modify it for you.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man, Dan. I'm so happy we got to talk, man. It's been years. I've known you for a long time. And, we have little flash, conversations on Instagram and stuff. But it really is nice to sit down and talk to you. And I appreciate your time once again. I try to close off the show 3 or 4 times, and then we just start again. That's how you know, like, I'm having a good time. And I hope that you had a good time. But we're going to end it right now for sure. And I hope to see more of you, brother. And if you need anything, man, if you need some money, do me a favor and hit up Grant, because I don't got shit for you. All right, so you can hit up Grant Cooper if you need some money to borrow.
I will, because COVID is fucking me up right now. I'm gonna hit him up.
I appreciate you, man. And man, we'll be in contact. And Krank Brooklyn. And anything else you want to plug in?
Nah, man, I really appreciate your time. And again, like, I'm really appreciative that, like, you hit me up to get on this. Really fucking cool. And I'm happy for everything that you're doing.
Yeah, man. So you can just Venmo me 200. We'll call it even. You're the man, Dan. I'm out of here. I'm going to let you go. Play with Goose.
Later, bro.
All right, peace, bro.